Then we heard his truck start. He was after us. His Bronco, you could hear it echoing off of the walls of the factory. Wah, wah. What am I talking about? This is the factory story. A good friend of mine, Matt Park, and I were at college, Whitworth University over in Spokane, and we went out on a lot of runs. Well, there were some woods near the university, and they were cool woods, like kind of eerie, sort of. You can tell that they've been leveled at one point, so relatively new, and we had a hankering to go near some giant buildings, huge old abandoned factories. They were so cool looking. It really looked like something out of a Batman movie where a villain would hang out. There's just old rusty machinery everywhere. And so there we were, trotting along with our short little running shorts. And we sort of circled the whole factory looking for a way to get through the chain link fence, and finally we found a fairly large gaping hole with no trespassing signs nearby. We were like, all right, we can get into this. We sort of shimmied through there and trying to stay on the side of the factory that would most likely not have any human personnel walking around, because although it was an abandoned factory, we still wanted to stay away from the busy road, which was on the other side. We explored inside, outside, up on these girders, underneath machinery. Let me explain to you where we went. This place was wild. We walked in what looked almost to be an airplane hangar, and with giant doors, huge cavernous arena with giant vats of, well, we didn't really know what were in these big bowls, but we came to find out that this was an aluminum manufacturing plant. And so they had just dumped tons of chemicals into these huge vats. It looked as if you could take a skateboard into one of these. It was one of those, like a big empty pool. At one point, we wanted to get into one of the buildings on the campus, but the doors were locked. And it was so cool though, because you could look in these windows and see these eerie chains dripping off of these rafters. And so Matt, being the skinny fellow that he is, he actually wiggled his way through a very small window. And I was like, Matt, are you in there? Are you okay? And then all of a sudden, the door opened. And there was Matt with his giant grinning face all covered in soot. And he said, come on in, this place is awesome. And so he let me in through the door. I closed the door behind me, and we climbed up these ladders, and all the way up to the top, it was like a haunted old spaghetti factory. We got to the topmost level of this huge building, and it was so creepy and eerie. And at one point, we heard a rustling. Yeah, what's going on here? And then suddenly, as all of this movement, as if these ghosts were suddenly attacking us around our head and swarming our field of vision. They were pigeons. Not meaning to be too overly dramatic, but it was frightening. This place was so cool. We ended up making our way down this huge bridge almost that went down. Evidently they would like dump ore down below, and it would take you up on this conveyor belt along this bridge all the way up to the top of the building. So we were at the top and made our way down this conveyor belt all the way down until we were actually underground. Yes, this place went underground. It was so something like out of a video game, like the first person shooting. So we were underground and finally found a ladder that took us up above ground. And right when we popped up, I looked down this long, long alleyway of buildings, and at the very end, I saw a man, a live human. He was stepping out of a truck, Ford Bronco, and I hissed, Matt, there's someone down there. And so we climbed off of the ladder and pressed ourselves up against the wall, out of the view of this guy way down there. He just looked like an ant. This place was huge. And I said, did he see us? And he said, I don't know. Okay, we gotta get out of here. All right, which way do we go? And as we were discussing this, we heard a whoop, 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 as his car started up and echoed off of the sides of these metal buildings. Was he after us? And then his engine revved. Wah, wah, and it got closer and closer, and I looked at Matt and said, he's after us! Run! And we ran. We ran so fast. We darted in between two buildings as he came ripping past us. The Doppler effect at work, ladies and gentlemen. And we started booking towards that little hole in the fence, in the chain link fence that we had snuck through. And I looked behind me and I saw him coming around the building. This guy was livid. If you had to drive like this, you would be so angry because he was bouncing around the corners, like skidding sideways. There was metal machinery everywhere, giant cogs and old broken down bulldozers that we were hurtling over and climbing under, and we were running through sort of sand. So if it felt like slow motion up in your head, then in real life it was slow motion because we were kind of wading our way through this really flowery texture. And of course, the truck was hot on our heels, slaloming around this machinery as we dove over it. And there up ahead was this berm, and on the other side of that berm we knew was the chain link fence, and if we could just get over that, and we got to that point and hurtled over this berm and stood up and looked down and saw that there were no holes in this section of the chain link fence. There was barbed wire on top we could not climb over. We were stuck. And so there we were, all out of breath with soot all over ourselves. So obvious that we had been through this entire factory. And we climbed back over the berm, and out stepped this character. Wow, he was just like straight out of a Mark Twain novel. He had this yellow teeth and an old crusty NASCAR hat, stubble, the glasses that went straight across like this. Don't worry, I'm watching the road very carefully. Just a total World War II vet, or probably Vietnam as a matter of fact, because he said, "What the hell do you think you guys are doing?" I said, "Whoa, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry we ran. We were just confused and scared. We snuck in here and we're sorry." And he said, "I got a shotgun in my truck and I could shoot you right now. I've been given clearance by the Spokane sheriff to shoot anyone who comes on this property." And this was very strange because as he was threatening our lives, this happy little plucky dog hopped out of his car and sort of at that point sat next to him grinning and smiling, and then he'd walk up to Matt and sort of lick his hand, and that coupled with a death threat was kind of weird, but I remember that for some reason. But anyway, and we had Whitworth College shirts on. It was so obvious that we were these punk college students. And we said, look, we're from Whitworth, right down the road, i.e., if you shoot us, then they'll know that we're missing. He said, we're just on a run, we'll leave, we won't come back, we won't do this again. If you're curious, we got through a hole in the fence over there. If you'd like to patch it up, not saying that it's your fault, but it's still our fault, we shouldn't have done that. And I'm sure the guy was really just playing mind games with us, but at that moment we didn't want to question his authenticity here. And he looked at us up and down and kind of spat. Get the hell out of here. Okay, all right, we're out of here. Sorry, we're going. And we started running away, jogging, not running too hastily. And I was like, Matt, do you think he was telling the truth about that shotgun? He said, I don't know. I said, just in case, do you want to get out of his line of sight? Yeah, let's. And so we hopped back down the berm and ran down sort of in the ditch until we came to that section in the fence where we had snuck in. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the factory story, and it just goes to show that no matter how stupid you are, God is still watching after you. So trust him and things will fall into place. Not meaning to preach at you, but seriously, that was just short of a miracle.